Don't forget to, oh, there you go.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is our One World Zohar study, where wherever we are connecting to the upper realm, the level of Binah, and spreading that energy out to the whole world, creating all kinds of synergies and unity. It all looks like we are living a separate existence, but we're not. We're all part of one unified whole. We just have different journeys, slightly different journeys. And no two of us have the same journey. There is no duplication in our realm. As we connect to these verses of the Zohar and we connect to the level of Binah, the level of fulfillment, we want to think about everybody who needs healing. People listed in our WhatsApp groups, people we can think of in our just mind's eye. Even better if we know their names. Send them energy of healing, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or financial healing. Let's also connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love for everyone, and spread that throughout the world, and also removing chaos and conflict that exists in our world. Let's also connect to the energy of immortality and manifesting that in our world also. Okay, we're at verse 179. Does someone want to volunteer to read English for us today? Okay, Ellen, you're on. All right, you want to start with the relevance there?
Yeah, sure. Spiritual light gleams on this page, cleansing us of curses we have uttered in the past.
Now, when we say curses, what exactly that, I mean, let's just say it's negative speech. And this is an important consciousness, because both negative speech and negative thought, you know, it just brings negativity into our lives. It's a hard thing to A, recognize, and B, do something about. But this Zohar is going to assist us in purging us from that negative energy, and also assisting us in keeping our consciousness in a positive place. And I'm not saying we need to look at the world through rose-colored glasses or in a Pollyannish, from a Pollyannish perspective. I'm not saying that. When we are confronted with uncertainty, we need to we need to spend time in that uncertainty and work that. When doubt comes our way, it's an opportunity for us to grow our certainty. So I'm not so much talking about that. I'm talking about just negativity. Okay, keep going.
A portion of this light is given to the evil inclination, so that his words of praise replace his condemnation in the supernal courts, protecting us from judgments caused by our own negative deeds.
So we're actually giving a little bit of our light to the other side. It's fascinating. Our teachers talk about this, and there are other contexts in which we do this. But the idea is, yeah, we're buying them off. Because the negative side wants our energy. Throw them a couple bones and move on. It is an acknowledgement that there is negative energy and there are negative entities. So that's our reality. That is the reality, part of the reality beyond our five senses, beyond what we perceive. So there's power, there's power in knowledge. Knowing that gives us the ability to work with that energy and find a workaround. So we're also getting that benefit here also. Okay, verse 179. Tachazeh, makativ hitrapita b'yom tzara tsar kochecha. My hitrapita mand itrape yedoi mekucha brichu delal itakva be dehech yitkaf barnash be mekucha brichu yad kep oraita dechol mand itatakaf oraita itakaf ilana derchame kiviyachol yeheb tukpa lichnes Israel litakva.
Come and behold, he asks in the verse, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. What is the meaning of you faint? He replies, a man whose hands do not firmly hold onto the Holy One, blessed be he, to receive strength from him.
Okay, so this discussion is about a line from Mishle, from the book of Mishlei, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Well, that kind of, what's so special about that? Obviously, if you faint, there's some weakness there. That's not what it's about. So the Zohar is going to help us unpack this. And we start off with, what does it mean you faint? This is someone who does not hold firmly onto the Holy One, blessed be He. Where does your life force come from? I may have said this before because it's one of the things I think about. Every night, I don't know if I should do it, but every night I plug my phone in and I charge it. And I know the battery power is coming from the outlet in the wall, the electricity. But I don't plug myself in, and yet your physical body is a superstructure of electronic flows. When I raise my hand, it's because an electronic impulse went from my head to my hand. And my question is, where does that come from? Where does that electricity come from? Well, the Creator. It comes from the Creator. Everything we perceive is coming from the Creator. Our energy is coming from the Creator. So even on a physical level, the more we realize that, the stronger we become. But there's a deeper level here. Keep going.
Okay, a man can be strengthened by stronger association with the Torah. For whoever is strengthened by the Torah holds more firmly to the tree of life, thereby giving power and strength to the congregation of Yisrael, the Shekinah. Now,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, you have a question.
Plug in, excuse me, just don't we plug in every time we read the Zohar? And
okay, so to a certain degree, every time yes, we do. But even those who are not plugged into the Zohar still are getting up in the morning and walking around. So there is this system of energy that we don't perceive with our five senses.
Yeah.
But above and beyond that, above and beyond the physicality, is this idea that the Zohar is saying, a man can be strengthened by strengthening his association with the Torah. What does that mean? And whoever holds more firmly onto the tree of life. So, one of those of us who grew up like in synagogues, one of the big singing moments was Eitz Chaim Hi. It's like when you're putting the Torah scroll, the Bible scroll away in the ark, it's still open. And one of the paragraphs that said it's Eitz Chaim Hi. It's one actually, everyone sings together. It's very spiritually uplifting at some level. But what it literally means is it's a tree of life to those who take hold of it. So what does it mean to take hold of the tree of life? Now, you see that tree behind me? Like, I just thought about that. When I picked this photo, it's just Rabbi Tarfon, I wasn't thinking about the tree. But not coincidentally, there's a tree that's coming out from where Rabbi Tarfon is buried, right there, behind me. There's this huge tree.
Beautiful.
It is. It's amazing. So, but what does it mean to take hold of the tree of life? Is it something physical? Am I actually holding on to something? No, obviously. There's two trees in the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. What does it mean to take hold of the tree of knowledge of good and evil? I live in a world where there's right and wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. Every so often, I'm wrong, you're right. Like everything's black and white here. It's not true. It's all based on perspective. It's all based on personal perspective. That's why we want to gain a respect for people and their differing perspectives on things. Now, their perspective may get expressed by actually a different opinion. That's it's not about the opinion, it's about the perspective. People have different perspectives based on their life experiences and based on their spiritual journey, of course. But for us to look at everything that's right and wrong, that's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. On the other hand, there's the tree of life. That's understanding that there's a deeper perspective. That at some level, the only difference is our perspective. It's like where you're standing and what you've been exposed to, and our limited 1% perception. If we understood that everyone was walking around with a perception of 1% of reality, then what am I judging them for? They don't see the other 99%. I don't either. But I do see enough to know that it's based on 1%. You wouldn't make any decision based on 1% knowledge, but we do it all the time. So actually, every decision we make is based on 1%. No wonder we want to invite the light in. That's being connected to the tree of life. You know, we have a practice. We take a drink. We say l'chaim. What do we drink? I mean, it gets explained. It means to life. We value life, but everyone values life. No, this is the tree of life. It's where our energy comes from. It's where our life force comes from. It's the reality of the 99%. And if you do that, you're giving power and strength to the world. It says the congregation of Israel, to the Shekhinah. We're giving power and strength to the world. That's our role, to hold on to that tree and to put our consciousness in the right place. And through working on our consciousness, affect the consciousness of the world. Somebody in one of the classes I was running a workshop for this week, actually in the chat, they said, you know, there's 8 billion people basically in the world. So what's the tipping point Kabbalistically for us to usher in, you know, immortality, the next, you know, phase here? And it's like, you know, we've talked about this. It's not quantitative. It might just require one more soul. I don't know. It might just require one more soul. We don't know. There's no scoreboard for that. It's hard to know. Maybe there are Kabbalists that know it. But for us, I can only work on one consciousness at a time, mine. And it's just, believe me, it's a struggle. That's the one I struggle with. My own consciousness. Because we're going to get dragged into these negative energies, these negative influences. Our consciousness is going to fall there. It's going to fall prey to that. And we want to do everything we can to keep it positive, keep it connected to the tree of life. Verse 180. Ve'ihu yitrapem oraita, makativ yitrapita ihu yitrape min oraita, v'yom tsar kochacha, v'yomad diete le aku, kivyachol dachek la lishchinta, diuchela de alma. But
if he relaxes his hold on the Torah, then he faints. And if he is faint in his hold on the Torah, then in the day of adversity, his strength is small. When trouble comes, he presses, meaning the Shekhinah, which is the power of the world.
So the problem is that if we are detached from this tree of life consciousness, from this perception of the deeper reality of the 99%, of asking the light for help on our journey, if we disconnect from that, adversity comes and we can't handle it. That's what the fainting means. So if we think we're going to do it on our own, we're setting ourselves up. Immediately? No, when the challenge comes. So again, this underscores this disconnect between cause and effect. I seem to be doing fine with my tree of life, with my tree of knowledge, good and evil. Everything seems to be working out just fine. Really, do I have to worry about that? Well, it's fine until it isn't fine, until we need that consciousness. And the world is set up in such a way that there's this delay between cause and effect. And then it's too late. So the work that we're doing in keeping our consciousness aligned with the tree of life reality is because when adversity strikes, we are better positioned to deal with it. Any questions about that? Okay, let's continue. 181. Davar acher, tsar kochecha, tachase b'shata davar nash itrape m'oraita, ve'azel ba'archa de la mash kashra, kama ba'le debabu ziminin le, Lemehebele kategorin b'yomav re'aku. De'afilu nishmate devarnash, de'iu chela v'tokva dile, iu marai devavu lekivle, dichtiv tsar kochecha, begin de'iu tsar legabe. So the question you might want to ask yourself is, what does this have to do with the portion of this week, which is Vayishlach? Jacob is leaving his father-in-law's realm. His father-in-law's Lavan, which literally means white, which the Kabbalists teach us that was a very misleading title. He was one of the most negative people on the planet. And Jacob is leaving because he met both his wives, he has all his children, and he's leaving Lavan and going back to his place of birth. But the only way to get back there is to pass through the land of Edom, which is where his brother Esau is in control. And as you may recall in the story, he didn't leave on such great terms with Esau. The Torah narrative, the Bible narrative, is that he stole the birthright. So this is potentially a conflict. Now, we all run into conflict situations. I'm Cancerian, I like to avoid conflict, but when I see Phyllis laughing, but when I see a conflict that needs to be addressed, I say to myself, I know I don't want to address it, but I know I need to address it. And so I have strategies for helping me with that. Which basically I just jump in. No, like I'll make.
So I'm a Libra and it's different. I don't like conflict. So what happens is I tend to let it just sit and sit and sit until it boils over. And then when it comes out, it doesn't come out the way that I intended to.
Of course not.
There's no strategy to it, you know?
No, right. I know. Like I listen, I had to make a difficult call this morning, and I have a little notepad here, and it's like, I knew I had to make the call. So I just got my points together. I don't think I ever looked at the piece of paper, but it helped me to organize my thoughts, because that's the thing. Sometimes situations we don't have to lean in, but sometimes it's obvious that we need to. And so we need strategies for that. People, and again, it depends on how we're all wired. We're all wired a little bit differently. But Jacob represents this channel of balance between mercy and judgment, between mercy and strength. Why was it that Isaac, his father, why is it that the Bible, the Torah says, he loved Esau? Esau was a totally negative guy, because Isaac was left column. He was the channel for judgment and strength. He perfected keeping that in balance. That's why we saw Jacob leaves Beersheba in Israel and goes to Haran. He can leave the Holy Land. Is this like did he need a passport? No, it's not a matter of that. It's the energy spheres. It's the energy fields. The energy field of the Holy Land is this highly charged special energy field. Jacob leaves there and goes to a very dark place, Haran, but he grows there and becomes the patriarch, the third column, the channel for Tiferet, balance between mercy and judgment. Isaac never leaves. Isaac had to stay in that energy field to keep judgment balanced and to open it, to keep that restriction of judgment and to maintain and open up balanced judgment for the rest of the world forever from that point. That was Isaac, the perfection of left column. His son Esau, also left column. That's why they had so much in common. They were both left column. Only Esau was unchecked left column. Could he have checked his left column? Could he have balanced it? Yes.
Shepherd, you remind me of my dog when we were growing up.
How so? Well,
David,
I just want to say there's there's a teaching that Esau was supposed to marry Leah, one of Jacob's wives, if he had achieved the spiritual work that he was here to work on. He wasn't able to. Yes, Peter.
Thinking about, Jacob and Esau and the comment you made, right? So there was the affinity, right? Because they're both judgment, they're both from the left column. So we always ask the question, right? Do opposites attract or likes attract like, right? So I'm just, I think the question is that I think we say, right, like the poles, the opposites actually, right, attract, right?
Well, yeah, there's debates on that, but yeah, they were aligned. They were spiritually. I mean, listen, there's certain people we have in our lives where there's an affinity that you can't explain, like immediately. Energetically, you're vibrating at the same frequency. There was a similarity of form, of vibrational frequency between Isaac and Esau, both left column. Remember, Esau is born, they call him red. He said he's red, he came out red. When Jacob is now returning, he has to pass through the land that is the energy field under the control of Esau. It's called Edom, red. It's left column energy. But we see that Jacob represents the balance between right and left. So he's gonna navigate that whole choppy sea, because that's what he does. He creates the balance. And we see that in the way the story plays out. And how does that tie into this Zohar? This is us, how we deal with adversity. This is us leveraging the 3-column system. This is us recognizing the importance of the tree of life and working to keep our consciousness there to assist us in our day of adversity. Are we going to encounter Esau? Yes. We are going to encounter Esau. How? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to show up. But we are getting strengthened in our resilience and our ability to navigate through this section, through the energy of this week. And one other thing, what does Jacob do? What does Vayishlach? It means he sent. Who did he send? He sent angels. Real angels? Yeah, real angels. Did he really send them? Here's $20 to pay for tolls and let me know how it turns out. Did he have to send them? Or were they just there? Did they go and come back? Were they like kind of walking along? Do we have angels? Yes, all the time. And it's an opportune time right now to point out the fact that one of the things that we say at the Shabbat, tonight's Shabbat, it's already, the energy of Shabbat is already infusing, it's past midday, so the energy of Shabbat is already infusing our physical realm. Our physical realm is already being infused with this elevated energy of Shabbat, of a direct connection between the lower realm and the upper realm. It's right here. It's going on right now. I'm just checking. Midday is 11:43, so it's been going on for an hour already. That's why things feel different, Lee. By the way, we're infusing this recording with that energy too. So one of the things, and there are many things that we do on Shabbat to give us a stronger connection to the tree of life energy that we can bring with us the whole week. One of the things that we do is there are a couple of prayers that we say or sing that give us an ability to transform our situation. And one of them is a prayer called Shalom Aleichem. So there's 4 verses. The first verse is Shalom Aleichem. What do you mean? Shalom means basically it's a greeting. In this case, it's hello. Who are we greeting in Shalom Aleichem? So what the Kabbalist teaches that on Friday night, if you're in synagogue or wherever you are and you return home, you're returning home with angels. Your angels from the week. Every positive thing and every negative thing that you did in the week created an energy consciousness. It created an angel, and it returns to you on Friday night. So shalom, you're welcoming in those angels. Actually, you're saying hello to them. The next line is Boachen. You're inviting them in. Come on in. Come into my little sphere, my little energy field here, my home. The third verse is Barchuni. Please bless me. You're asking these angels to bless you. And in the process, what about the negative angels? In the process of this whole consciousness, is any negative angels we created during the week by negative actions, we are now transforming them into positive and angels that are there to bless us. And then the last verse is Seischem or Bit Seischem L'Shalom. Go in peace. So we greet them, we invite them in, we ask them to bless us, and then we send them on their way. That's what we have the power to do on Friday night. Can you sing a Thursday night? Yes. Is it the same? No, it's not the same. It's a different energy. It's a different energy field. The 25-hour period of Shabbat, the reason why we have restrictions is to give us a greater opportunity to leverage, to tap into the energy that's just available in that 25-hour period. We don't want to cause any short circuits. I mean, don't beat yourself up if you do create a short circuit. It's going to happen every so often. But the goal is to leverage and connect and to channel as much of that energy, extra special energy that happens once a week. So it's another opportunity we have to remove that chaos and to position us to deal with the adversity of the week ahead. Okay, I think you're reading the English of 181.
Did I start that yet?
No, I just went right into whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Another explanation of the phrase, your strength is small, is that when a man is faint in his hold on the Torah and walks a crooked path, many enemies wait to oppress him in a day of adversity.
Okay, so as we've discussed, there are 613 commandments made up of positive commandments, 248, and 365 negative. The positive commandments are what delineate, or what tell us the journey, the path. When we're doing these positive things, we are channeling positive energy into our lives. When we refrain from doing the negative things, we're refraining from connecting to negativity. That is how the journey in this world is supposed to go for our souls. Do we fall off the path? Yeah, all the time. But we always want to get back on the path. And so what the Zohar is telling us is that when you're not holding on to the tree of life, you're off the journey, you're off the path. You're walking a crooked path. You're bouncing around. You're not on the straight and narrow, literally. And because of that, not only are you off the path, but when you're off the path, there are negative entities that are looking to take advantage. And so we lose the protection we have from those enemies who, they're not to strike us anytime. No, they're going to hit us on a day of adversity when our challenges show up. What does that look like? I wonder. What does it look like for negativity to attacking us in my day of adversity? That you get kicked when you're down. It's like when you're down, it's like, oh my God, everything looks terrible. But where do you think those messages, those negative messages are coming from the other side? So I don't want to fall. And I certainly don't want to hear those negative messages when I fall. So by staying connected with this positive field of energy, I'm insulating myself from falling off the path and from the negative entities that are going to look to hit me when I'm down. And we're getting that strength right here, that resiliency. Okay, keep going.
Even his own soul, his power and strength becomes his foes and enemy.
How can my own soul become my foe and enemy when I'm down? How does that happen? It's not there to help. I can't rely on my soul to help me. I've disconnected from that. Go ahead.
He explained the words, your strength is small, Tsar, as your
Tsar,
strength,
yes.
as your strength is an enemy, Tsar, which refers to his soul, which reflects a man's strength.
So it's all about what makes us strong. Is it my Pilates class or my workout? Yeah, that'll make you physically strong, but we're not talking about that. We're specifically talking about our spiritual strength, our ability to stay on course, to stay aligned with our soul's purpose, and to navigate the challenges that come along. 182. Amar Rabbi Abba, B'shata devar nash azil ba'archei ba'oraita. And again, as I read these words in Aramaic, we are connecting to the inner essence of these letters and the inner essence of these words and these paragraphs. And that inner essence is connecting us to all this energy of helping us on our journey. Amar Rabbi Abba, B'shata devar nash azil ba'archei ba'oraita. V'chol archoi mittaknan kitka yaot. Kama sene gorin kaimin ale la'ad kara le latav. Takli amar im yesh alav malach ne'litz echad mini alef lahagid la'adam yashro v'yechunenu v'yomer peta'ehu me'redet shechat matzati kofer. Hane kora'e itlis takla baho v'chila itgale kola kame kuchabrichu. De'iyut sarich lamalcha de'yema kame tav o vish.
Rabbi Abba said that when a man walks the path of the Torah and his ways are duly straight, many advocates stand ready to speak well of him.
Okay, so if you look at it literally, it's like he walks the path of the Torah and his ways are duly straight. It sounds like, it sounds so simple, right? It also, for me, it sounds like so, like there's this hierarchy. There isn't. Everybody experiences that, bouncing between the path of spiritual growth, the path of walking the straight line and falling off the path. There isn't anyone that you encounter, I don't care how spiritually evolved they are, that doesn't fall. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. They would not be here. So I say this because we might say, well, it's impossible. I can't do it. I see people that are doing it, I can't do it. No, that when you hear the voice that says I can't do it, that's the other side exploiting you. I can't. I mean, that guy can do it. He's been doing his whole life. No, don't judge. Don't measure yourself against him or her. You have your own journey. If it's on your journey, you can do it. It's a lie that the opponent tells you you can't do it. It's a lie. That's what the opponent's about. Lies, 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 lies. Okay, keep going.
He opened the discussion with the verse, if there be an angel over him, an intercessor, one among 1,000, to vouch for a man's uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom.
Okay, so there's one of the lines that I got glossed over is that many advocates, when you are doing your spiritual work, that means you haven't arrived. You're working on it. When you're doing your spiritual work and you're trying to stick to the straight and narrow path, the Zohar says, many advocates stand ready to speak well of him. Your guides are putting in a positive word. Look at the job she's doing. Look at that. Giving it the old college try. We don't see it, but that's what's happening. There's energy consciousness that's there to provide us energy of protection and energy of advocacy on our behalf. Go ahead. We should.
Deliver him. We should study these verses carefully. Is not all revealed before the Holy One, blessed be he, Does he need an angel to announce before him good and evil?
Oh, well, wait a second. It's a little bit problematic, the Zohar is pointing out. Do I really need an advocate? I mean, doesn't the creator see that what I'm doing? The creator has to be convinced? Someone needs to advocate on my behalf? Isn't everything already revealed to the creator? Well, obviously, so it falls short in meaning. There must be something else here. 183. Elabadai eats tirich. Dechad it le levarnash sane gorim. Lad kara zechudi de kame. La'it le kategorin. Kidain v'yechunenu v'yome peta'ehu. Me reddit shachat matzati kofer.
He answers, although he knows everything, he surely requires an angel to arouse mercy.
Okay, so yes, so Zohar is saying, yes, of course, everything is revealed to the creator. Of course, he knows everything. So there is a reason, though, why it needs to be aroused by an angel. So there's something else here. Go ahead.
Because when a man has good intercessors who remind the Holy One, blessed be he, of his merits, and no one who speaks of his sins, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom.
What is ransom in this situation? What does that mean? I found my ransom.
It's a payment.
It is a payment. Like, somebody takes your bicycle and holds it ransom, and or actually, God forbid, your computer is victimized by ransomware. You got to send them a check. They prefer Bitcoin because it's not traceable. Of course, everything's traceable, but whatever. So that's ransom. Well, what payment am I making here? What is the payment that I'm making? It's my good deeds. It's the things that I've done. We are all here to do work. Working on the assumption that this is not our first incarnation. We probably have merits from prior lives. We don't bring them here with us. We bank them. They're banked because we don't want them here and tainted. It's one of the things our teachers tell us. Like, we don't come here with all of our faculties, with all of our spiritual merits, because we're keeping them protected. Can we use them? Yeah, I think there is a way to use them, but notwithstanding, those spiritual merits are this idea that that's what the ransom is. We're buying our way out based on spiritual merits. Do we have spiritual merits in our lifetime we can use? 100% we do. If we're sitting and studying Zohar, we are banking spiritual merits. For ourselves, well, we started this study up because we want to make the world a better place. That's why we do these things. That's why it's part of the consciousness we begin class with. We all want to have a desire to see for the sake of sharing with the world. And that gives us spiritual merit, as opposed to the desire to receive for the self, which is meritless. So yeah, we do. And so when we encounter challenges, we have energy banks that we can use as ransom to assist us. That's what this is talking about. And it's important for us to realize that we have, through our work, we have assistants. We have guides, we have angels, we have advocates, we have chips in the spiritual bank. We have many things that we build to use from all the spiritual work that we do, all the sharing that we do. Can you see it? No. Is it there? 100% it's there. And the angels avail themselves, our angels avail themselves of that. That's why we need them. Did you finish 183? Oh wait, we're in the middle of 184. Go ahead.
Come and behold. This
No, David. You
Wait a
finished
minute.
183, you had not read 184.
Okay, let's read 184. You know what? I'm going to read 24, but we may one at a time. Let's see. Tachaze b'hai kratish kach b'riram damila. Ketivim yesh alav malach. Im la ketiv yatir ya'otu aval malach melitz echad mimi alef ketiv uman ihu dahu malach dimamana ime devarnash bistar smala. Dichtiv yapol mitzidacha elef veda hus shitra dismala. Dichtiv bitrei urbava miminecha.
Come and behold, this verse clarifies the matter. It is written, if there be an angel over him, which should be sufficient. Yet it continues, an intercessor, one among 1,000. We should therefore find out who he is.
Who is
said-
that angel? Go ahead.
He said, this is the angel whose duty it is to be on the left side of man, as it is written, 1,000 shall fall at your side. We know this to be the left side from the following words, and 10,000 at your right side, which means that at your side, which appears earlier, refers to the left side.
And again, as I referred to just before, this is our right and our left, our desire to receive for the sake of sharing and our desire to receive for the self. This is constantly going on. Jacob represents our ability to create balance, to use our desire. We have a desire, but to use that desire. If you're here and you're incarnated and you got a body, you have body consciousness, you have a desire to receive the self. We want to take that desire. We want to overcome that nature to receive for the self and use that desire to receive for the sake of sharing. Will we benefit from that? Yes, but that is not our starting point. Our starting point always needs to be desire to receive for the sake of sharing. Okay, everybody, we're out of time. Thank you all.
Thank you, David.
Love you
Shabbat
all.
shalom,
Have a
everybody.
great week. Shabbat shalom.
Hello. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
everybody.
shalom.
Thanks,
Thank you.
David. Shabbat shalom,
Thank you,
everyone.
David.
Thank you, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye.
You too.